This album is dedicated to all the teachers that told me I never amount to nothing. To all the people that lived above the buildings that I was hustling from that called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. Yeah. And to all my peoples in the struggle, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby.
Pigskin in the Purge.
I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine, hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, Rap Attack, Mr. Magic Molly.
And good morning to you. Good morning to everybody else. 9 to noon is in the air, middle part of the radio show, second hour. Nordo produces, and I'm Paul Allen. We went to full strength on Monday. That's debatable, always were. And I think we have a full strength Friday football feast tomorrow. PA in charge, Nordo. Chad Greenway is going to join us sometime in the first hour. So this is your full strength, the leader, the fan, and KFAN.com.
Who's got it better than us?
Yep, not many. It's been proven over a couple of decades. Ben Leber joins us in studio now. I'll learn more about him and follow him at Nacho Leber via Twitter. Also, Twin Cities Live today and each and every weekday, 3 to 4:30 on Channel 5. TCL, yeah, you know we. Twin Cities Live, 3 to 4:30, Channel 5. And Ben joins us now. Good morning. How are you?
PA, I'm doing good.
Wow, that's a sensual voice. What
somber.
Why?
I don't know. No, I'm just
you
playing.
Didn't want Rob
no, I'm just playing with you. I'm just. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Yeah,
we're going to be seeing so much of each other here in about 5.5 weeks. Let's just.
I know.
Let's cherish the absence makes the heart grow fonder part of the equation.
That's 100%. You know,
distance is never disdain. Out of sight, out of mind.
Look, man.
It's the only way to look at it.
I cannot wait for the season to start. I'm already starting. The family and I were already starting to look at that early part of August because we're like, we're trying to figure out all of our vacation plans and how can we maximize the family time and do all this other stuff. Because
I mean, Whit is going to love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It ain't happening, bro.
Okay, let me ask you a question about TV quickly.
Sure.
TCL, yeah, you know, 3 to 4:30, Twin Cities Live, Channel 5, very popular show, very good show. Do you ever monitor, like the competition, like what's happening around you? For instance, when you're on at 3 o'clock, Care 11 has Entertainment Tonight. But it's Entertainment Tonight in the day, which is weird. And like they have Bahamas Week this week. Do you guys just bury them?
let me be honest.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Entertainment Tonight in the day.
Of course.
That's pretty sweet.
It's just like you guys. Like you get a score, you get updates, you get ratings, and all this other stuff.
Haven't stopped looking at the competition 15 years ago.
So we get basically a weekly breakdown for the whole station.
Oh, wow.
And it's not just Twin Cities Live. It's not just our 3 to 4:30 time slot, but it's for everybody in all the shows that they've got going on over Channel 5. So we know what all the stations are doing at the same time slots and what the ratings are. I will say this. We don't have much competition.
Yeah, well,
we crush our time slots.
Around the neighborhood in St. Paul, the word is, what is 45 is a question that's like, the answer is, that's how many Nielsen points 3 to 4:30 is ahead of everybody else.
I always love that one.
Channel 4 has Dr. Phil opposite my guy, Twin Cities Live, 3 to 4:30, Channel 5. Dr. Phil, yesterday, Dr. Phil's show on their website was described as Dr. Phil talks with the birth mother of a severely malnourished boy that was kept locked in a closet under the stairs by his father and stepmother. You can go ahead and hit me with the what is 40. We crush it. Yeah. How do you beat that?
I always love that one.
How do you beat that? You can't beat that.
Maybe on an individual day, maybe we can't compete with that because I'm telling you right there, that's appointment TV.
That tugs at the heartstrings. What do you like more and why? TV or radio?
Here's the diplomatic answer. They're both great, Paul.
Right. Mm-hmm. They're both fun to a certain extent.
They're both great. Look, I don't think that all TV is the same.
Yeah.
From my very small experience. Yeah. You and I have done a lot of things for TV or for web or things, whatever. And you know this feeling. The juice that you get from something that is live, is way different than that very same camera pointed at you, and you're like, this is recorded.
Oh, so you're saying you record Twin Cities live beginning at noon and push it off as live at 3 o'clock.
Don't even start that.
Wait till I tell Dr. Phil.
Don't even start that.
Anyway.
So the thing is, like, for what I get to do on a daily weekday basis, like, it's hard to compare because as much as this is live, you and I are live right now. This is not pre-recorded. Like, whatever we're saying right now is happening now. We're in the now. Whatever is happening now is happening now. Get it? That's from Spaceballs. I don't need to go through the whole thing.
I got you.
So here's the deal.
TV has more rigmarole than radio, but it has to because there are more moving parts.
There's more moving parts, and the visual aspect of it changes a lot.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you're on TV for people to look at and to scrutinize and to criticize and whatever, like, that's very real. You know, you and I, and plus there's all the time cues and all this other stuff. Like, our segments aren't free flowing and more natural that like we're having now. Because I can sit here and be very long-winded like I am right now.
Right.
And you can sit there and scratch your chin and shake your head.
Right.
And if you did that on TV...
I'm just trying to get to the straddle alive. That's it.
I get it.
As long as you want.
I get it. So I'm over-explaining the things that you already know. That TV and radio are different just in format alone. Radio, you can kick your feet up, you can relax, you can just talk amongst yourself, be more conversational. TV, it's much more stringent. There's more of a formula to it. I'd like to think that us at Twin Cities Live, we're a blend of both because we're lifestyle and we're not newsy. We're just like, we can have conversations. But the point is, being live versus recorded, it's a completely different animal. There's an adrenaline that you get on a live show, on a live TV show that you just can't replicate on radio.
I really enjoy calling television preseason games. So granted, it's a simulcast, so you can watch it on Fox 9 and listen to it on KFAN. We'll have one against the Raiders in like 6 weeks, and then at Stefanski, and then at Philadelphia. And that wasn't always the case. I think I've done it now 11, 12 years, something like that. And you joined the fray like half decade ago, 6 years ago, something like that. The low-key nature is one thing. The W's and L's don't count at that stage. So the conversations, just everything's just markedly different. But I think what the most joy that I draw from doing, it's the only time that I'll like call a TV game. It's the only time in my life I've called TV games, is the balance between the TV viewing audience being like, hey, radio guy, you're saying too much.
I always love that one.
And the radio audience being like, you're not describing enough.
I always love that one.
So that's why we'll orchestrate in the third or fourth quarter every single preseason game, simply to get under the skin and maybe give some life to both feet of the program director here, where there will be occasional plays where it's like, Darnold, Jackson, yes.
I always love that one.
It takes Abbott 6 seconds to text. I'm like, my bad. So then like 2 plays later, Jones. Oh!
I always love that.
And first down. That's the whole call.
Yeah.
Stop. Abbott like, stop.
So who texts you more over the course of one of those games? Because a lot of times in the TV booth where you and Pete are, there's no Abbott. I've been down there when I used to spot for you a long time ago. Like Steve from Fox 9, little wordy there, Paul.
Yeah.
And then Abbott, can you please explain exactly what game is happening on the field right now? Who texts you more?
Well, Steve Johnson, the producer, is with all of us during the course of games.
Yeah.
Terrific. Absolutely love the guy. Known him well over a decade. It's not a problem, but when I say there's more rigmarole in television, because there has to be, simply because graphics and things like what you can see, what Ben said, stuff's coming up and you got to know. So, TV people listening now will understand that there is an art. Well, Ben knows there's an art to talking while somebody's talking in your ear.
Yes.
Like with the 9, 8, 7, 8. Vikings lead the Raiders on the KFAN Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network feed on Channel 9. So that's an art, but it's not that hard. It's like when you're trying to describe the pedigree of Lucky Jackson, and you're getting pounded on to make sure you get the heat map worldwide in the next 2 seconds.
I always love that one.
So then you got to cut the story off right there in the middle where you don't get to the lucky part of the Lucky Jackson, but then maybe yours truly buried the lead. And it's not a problem. It's just an art, wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, I actually... Look, let me say 2 things about our radio broadcast and our simulcast that we do in the preseason. That feeling that we have,
I love it.
That feeling that we have in the fourth quarter,
that's the best
of basically all 3 games. I mean, especially in the fourth. I mean, the fourth game when we used to have the fourth games, it was like it was the full game.
Yeah,
like that's the sort of looseness that I think people appreciate, and I think that makes our broadcast so much more fun. So let's try to. My advice is let's try to do that more in the first quarter and not be so we're so uptight because we're on TV. No, people enjoy it because it's loose and it's fun.
Okay,
and we understand that this is for 3 games.
Yeah,
you're getting this sort of entertainment for 3 games, and then we're going back to radio.
Great,
and
dumbass.
it's fun.
Okay, you're great. Now all of a sudden you're Marconi. Mixed with Cecil B. DeMille and Rune Arledge. Okay, now you got all the answers for all the production. So why hasn't this come up? How long have we worked together? 6 years? 7?
Yeah, probably.
Something like that?
Yeah.
When did you buy me the first hammer-made suit that I've ever had?
That's just
the great nicest. Rob, how about Nacho? His first year, it's I can't even remember why. He's like, thanks for helping me with A, B, and C. And I'm like, cool, no problem.
Yeah, you've been a great mentor to me.
I thought he was going to give me a card with $5 in it. My man gave me a custom-made, hammer-made suit.
I always love that one.
I mean, now that's a gift right there. Okay, so we'll put the...
fit?
We'll put the...
You're not answering.
Been taken out once or twice. That's
You're not answering.
Hell.
I think Derek wore it to a job interview 3 weeks ago.
And he got the job.
Nice ass suit, though. It's got my name on the inside.
Leber paying it forward twofold. That's
yeah.
awesome.
He's like, Dad, but this has your name on the inside of it. I'm like, yeah, open your suit. It'll help you get the job.
I always love that one.
All right, 3-2. All right, 3-2. So the more than half decade we've worked together. Let's see, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. We're about 10 years. I mean, you were there for the miracle on the field.
Yeah.
So were you there 16? 16, that rough Adrian year.
The thing is, everything is
the Indy game.
Everything's kind of blending a little bit together for my end because
you're mixing me up with Eric Wilson or Nelson. What's his name?
Who are you trying to say?
Eric, the play-by-play guy that you worked with Fox. You worked with all the time. Curly hair, Eric.
Brendan Burke?
No, I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah. Anyway, so you guys brought me in, so slowly and nicely here at the Fan that it was like I did a little bit of preseason stuff at some point in time, and I would do a couple things with the with Fox 9.
Eric Collins, damn it!
Oh, Eric Collins, yeah.
Nice of you to remember him. Memorable games you guys called together, right?
I don't remember from his curly hair. Curly haired guy.
Did he have curly hair?
Not really.
Okay.
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
So anyway,
why are you changing the mix now is what I'm trying to get at.
I'm not changing the mix.
Yes, you did. You said
no.
You said you didn't say we should consider. We should have a meeting. Let's call Steve. Let's call Pete. You said, well, we should. Why don't we play more loosely in the first quarter? Instead, it's so serious.
Well, I'm just saying.
I realized it was so serious.
We always get done with the broadcast on those games at the end of the game, and we're like, oh my God, that was like so much fun in the fourth quarter, and we will even talk about how nice it is to be so loose, and it's like, okay, whatever, we're just going to say this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to just treat it like a fourth preseason game.
Yeah.
Well, I really think that resonates not only with us, but I think that resonates with the viewers as well.
But I think the entire preseason games are like that.
I think there's a difference.
Okay,
I think game one, and I'll admit it even myself. Game one of the preseason every year, it's just like, whoo, here we go. I'm a little more buttoned up. I got to be I got to be really concise. And I
I'm
do this,
sorry
and
we all don't fire as well off the layoff as you.
I'm not saying that.
I'm sorry some of us need a couple of reps to
I'm not
all of a sudden become Michelle Tafoya reincarnate.
I always love that one.
we can all be in the same boat on game one.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But all I'm saying is for games 2 and 3, let's just go in with the approach of everybody knows this is preseason. Everybody knows this is loosey-goosey. Hell, the product on the field is loosey-goosey, right? Mm-hmm. So why can't we just have a little bit more fun with it,
We do. See, the thing is,
I'm saying,
you're the one wound up. So you're preaching to yourself right now, trying to tear down 2 others and an entire radio and TV production team, simply because you can't loosen up off the layoff.
Okay, so maybe I'm deflecting a little bit, but here's the thing. I know that you feel it. I know that Pete feels it as well. And my only thing is, and this is absolutely just staring at the mirror in a reflection as well, that I don't know. Let's just go into it like a little bit more of that 4th preseason game feel.
Well, now we're getting technical. So like this first preseason game, U.S. Bank Stadium, it's like August 10th, something like that, somewhere around there. Well, I would imagine Darnold will be under center, okay? So that is the first Sam Darnold in our colors moment. Now, if JJ plays, I'd be super surprised. Do you think Addison will play in preseason games? I mean, Hawkinson ain't going to play because he's still on the mend.
He's still on the mend, yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, Darnold and like new guys are going to get run. So, therefore, when you say loosey-goosey, I mean, you kind of got to go through, like, where Sam has been and what he's done and how he got here. Either that or I'll just go, Jones, right side. Wow! Never seen that!
I always love that.
And then Abbott will kill me via text, and you'll explain Aaron Jones, Texas El Paso, Green Bay Packers, carried the squad last year. You can have Jordan Love. It was Aaron Jones who actually carried the team. Back to you, Paul. Do you mean that?
No, that's not what I mean. I think all of that stuff is necessary. That's the nuts and bolts of what we have to do as
You're
a
making me want to
team.
watch Dr. Phil today at 3:00. I'm just teasing. Go ahead. Continue.
No, don't do that because we got a live. We've got we've got an on location show down in Rochester at Chester's
today.
Yeah,
Chester and in Rochester.
Yeah, Chester's in Rochester.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
What is it open to the public?
It is. Yeah, open to the public. No tickets necessary. Just get there, show up, have fun with us. So anyway, I think you know what I mean, and
I know what you mean.
I'm not saying that we're doing, myself included, we're not doing anything wrong or bad.
I know what you mean.
I just think that the fun that we have for 17 games on the radio, let's keep that more top of mind versus, oh my gosh, we're on TV for the simulcast for 3 games.
But I don't have that in mind. Like when we head into it.
But I'm telling you, there's a difference.
I know there's a difference.
I'm listening. Look.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm listening to your guys' broadcast.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, like anybody.
Well, so now it's us that are too wound up, and you're fine.
No, I'm saying that the vibe, the vibe overall, is just different.
Yeah, it is. I know. I understand what you're saying, but what I'm also saying is like there are certain, like J.J. McCarthy. I mean, so what you're saying is you can be loose while describing and explaining and going through history and stuff like that.
So let me just stop you there. So because as you said right earlier, like we're just going to banter back and forth until you hit the straddle. Well, we've gone over the straddle, so we failed at that.
Oh no! Again, Marconi, the straddle's at 27.
Yeah, there's always the next one.
So
there's always
the deal.
another straddle.
I'll handle the straddle. You handle running high-end football broadcasts. Yeah. So continue, please.
We're getting yelled at on TV. We're just fine on radio right now.
Mannion. Ooh.
Okay, so you're not necessarily, and this is just an example, so don't twist this around.
Mm-hmm.
So when Pete says if that was a spear, that would have killed him, right?
Mm-hmm.
That will get said in the 4th preseason game.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily get said in the first quarter of the first preseason game.
Well, unless Troy Williamson is the one attempting to catch the pass.
I always love that one.
And I understand. I understand what you're saying, kind of. Did you? I
didn't hurt your feelings.
Oh, not at all. I loved every minute of it. I'm learning more about a dear friend of mine and a cohort and a coworker second by second about just your overall thought of how poorly Pete and I perform in the preseason.
I feel like I need to give you a hug.
I just don't know how much more loose you can get.
I know.
And what that looks like.
You see, that's what thank you. That's what I was thinking along the way, but I was sitting back on too many one-liners because you were just rolling it out there. But what do you mean? And it's like, what do you mean?
Well, I just mean then it almost, because Ben's totally right. I mean, towards the end of the games, and Leber, by the way, is on the sidelines, and you're usually doing it later stages of games too. Yeah. You're interviewing Hitman. You're interviewing the guys that didn't play. What do you think about the team? It's all jokes. It's all love. Mm-hmm. I think that plays into how loose it is. But but from your standpoint on the call, I mean, you get any looser and suddenly you're just doing 9 to noon.
Seriously.
And it's some stream of consciousness stuff. Right. And I just have to be honest with you.
I thought I was doing fine.
You are, but I would actually start to worry about maybe a one-liner that was too funny. And how things could maybe go that way at one point where the scale could eventually be tipped.
So you're saying God crafted me funnier than Leber and Bursic, and that's really at the essence of the problem now.
That is really the A topic.
That's correct.
Oh, wow.
That's correct. That's a great way to put it.
Oh, well, now I just turned it back on me, and I feel like a fool. This sucks. I was just trying to be funny. All right, let's pause. You know what's happening in 9 seconds? The straddle.
Duty EB.
Ben Leber, Paul Allen.
Go to break in 5.
Nordo by
4,
our side.
3.
You're listening
2,
to Minnesota Vikings football
1.
on the KFAN Minnesota Vikings are a radio network.
And we're
come on. Sicker than your average. Papa twist cabbage off instinct. Just don't think. Stink pink gators. My Detroit players. Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. Dead right. If the head right, Biggie there every night. Papa been smooth since days of under rules. Never lose. Never choose to. Bruce Cruz who? Do something to us. Talk goes through us. Girls want to us. Wanna do us. Screw us. Who us? Yeah, Papa.
We're happy for you.
Close like Starsky and Hutch. Stick to clutch. Yeah, I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3. Bang every MC.
High fives for everybody.
Recently, frontin' ain't saying nothing, so I just speak my peace. Keep my peace. Cubans with the Jesus peace. With my peace. Packing, asking who want it. You got it. Flaunt it.
This one right here is funky as bleep.
Biggie, 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 can't you see?
They call him Nordo the E. I know you're a Timberwolves fan on the side, and you were also on the power trip today. Rob Dillingham, as I mentioned earlier, really not watching a lot of college basketball. Couldn't pick him out of a 2-person lineup standing next to James Worthy.
I always love that one.
So then I jumped onto YouTube and I watched for 10 minutes this Dillingham from Kentucky highlights. And I'm like, damn, man, my guy's fast. Holy cow, is he fast with the dribble. He can jump out of the gym, too. But, I mean, just like, look at this year, with the bosses trying to appease or please fan bases. I mean, Kwesi goes up and gets quarterback of the future and then moves up as aggressively, if not more, to get defensive player, 3-2, defensive rookie of the year in the making in Dallas Turner. So now we fast forward to the NBA draft, and it was just the trippiest thing ever. I mean, we go up and we get the 8th pick. We get maybe the best point guard in the draft. We hold 27 and 37. And this is in a day full of one-liners for whatever the reason. This is actually true. When those picks hit for the Spurs, I will be Social Security eligible.
I always love that one.
And, I mean, granted, I'm kind of close to it, I guess. But, I mean, they're 7 years down the road. It's just so weird how this thing worked out, right?
Yeah, I don't get – there's a lot of things I don't really understand about the NBA draft, and that's one of them is that you can pull a lever in the trade situation where you're trading away picks 7-8 years down the road, and then you start throwing like, well, conditional, not conditional, whatever this is going. I'm like, I don't understand why anybody would go for that trade so far down the road, but fortunately in this situation, it's going to benefit the Timberwolves. And the crazy thing is, and again, I paid attention to the Timberwolves like a lot of people out there, more so this year than any other year, just because of how successful they were, and they were a lot of fun to watch. And it really is a brand of basketball that I personally feel really good about.
Well, actually, Nordo and I are not of the bandwagon variety. We follow it all the time and watch all the games.
I always love
anyway,
that
go
one.
ahead.
No, you want me to be the captain of this bandwagon? I have no problem captaining this bandwagon. I can be right at the helm, whipping those horses and telling them where to go.
I'm that way with the Lynx right now. I'm on that bandwagon. I'm watching all the games. I'm a lemon. Caitlin drew me in. I'm just the only one who concedes it. She drew me in. I'm watching the totality of it now. And I'm watching our team because our team might win the championship. It's a really good team. And I'm just happy that they're going alphabetically on that bandwagon, so I'm right up front.
I have no shame in my bandwagoning skills. So I will say this when it comes to not only the trades that we gave away and the draft picks that we gave away, how I find it so ridiculous, but the fact that the Timberwolves' second pick in the first round is a more familiar name than the guy that they drafted. Was it eighth?
Yeah, on the eighth.
I'm like, that would be weird.
Yeah.
Like think about that.
So you really knew who that guy was, Terrence Shannon Jr.?
Well, again, I had to have his situation re-explained to me this morning by Parker, which he did a great job.
Yep.
But I at least knew of him, and I've watched him play on TV this last basketball
Watching a lot
season.
of Illinois basketball these days.
Well, obviously it's proximity. I mean, we're getting a lot more Big Ten games.
Twin Cities Live on site in Chicago, and you just happen to fall into it. Big Ten Network. I get it. Anyway, go ahead.
So the fact that I at least heard of this guy, versus the guy we drafted eighth is fascinating. Like who out there would say, yeah, God, I know a lot about this Dallas Turner guy. No, who's this JJ McCarthy guy?
Right.
No, I don't. Have you heard of this guy? I haven't heard of this guy. Where did he come from?
Right.
I mean, imagine that scenario. And this is the world that we're in right now. That I think there are more people that know Terrence Shannon Jr. than they know of this cat from Kentucky.
Now, football, because that's football always wins. And there are a couple of things that I saved for you from last week, and we're going to get to one. I just want your opinion on this. What do you make of what Julian Edelman said about Aaron Rodgers and his excused absence from Jets mandatory minicamp? Edelman, who was a dog, said, quote, I think it's a bad look for your leader, for whatever reason, to go and miss a mandatory minicamp. I was with Tom Brady in his 25th year or 23rd year, and he started missing OTAs here and there. But he never missed a mandatory minicamp. I just thought it was a bad look. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. But if I was in that locker room and Aaron Rodgers wasn't there for 3 days on the mandatory minicamp, having played 4 snaps off an injury, when we have 2 new receivers, a bunch of new linemen that we added to the team, with a CBA that doesn't allow us to practice a lot, I guarantee there are 4 or 5 guys, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys in the locker room maybe, sitting there like, where's he at? What do you think of all that?
I'm with him.
It was an unexcused
that's
skipping of the bit.
That's the thing. And when they say it's unexcused, that means there wasn't a death in the family. Yep. There wasn't something super super critical going on. So this was a truly an elective sort of thing for Aaron Rodgers just to miss. And
aggressive by the team. I mean, lying happens all the time in all pro sports. They could have said excused and been pushed on it and never said why. They came right out and put an unexcused on my man.
Well, I'm glad that Salah treated him like he would any other player. Don't put him on a pedestal and excuse an absence that maybe is not something that you should excuse. Treat him as much as you can like all the other players and hold him to the same standard. I think that stuff resonates all the way across the board, top to bottom in the whole organization. But the thing is, this is the one thing that I will say that I don't necessarily agree with Edelman on this, is that he names off the new receivers, the new linemen, the new players on the team. You're getting three practices.
Yeah.
Right? He's missing 3 practices. He was there for all the OTAs. He's been there for a lot of the offseason stuff.
Oh.
So it's
probably should have looked that part up.
So it's not like he had never been around and just skipped the mandatory part. He's been there sort of building a relationship and a chemistry with these new players. These 3 practices that he missed, whether they're 3 mini camp practices or 3 OTA practices, it's not going to affect the team long term.
Yeah.
But it does send a message that you have one obligation. You have 3-day obligation as a vet. That's truly how it is. Now, younger players, OTAs are basically an obligation. You shouldn't skip those. But you have one time in the offseason to show the team that you're committed to them, that you can make whatever sacrifice it's going to take to put the team first, to be the leader for 3 days, and you chose to do something else. That's not excused. So I do agree that I'm guessing there's going to be more than 8 or 9 guys in the locker room thinking WTF is going on here. It's more like half the team, if not the whole team, saying, this is some BS, man. Like, he's not here with us for this mandatory minicamp because he's off doing whatever, and we're all here.
Yeah.
So as much as Aaron can say that he is all for the team and he's committed and all this other stuff, it doesn't seem like you're walking the walk right now.
It's in closing here, the joint practices between the Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. It's in the middle of August. In just starting to kind of get a feel for what the plan's going to be with O'Connell and Stefanski and stuff like that. I'm just really happy you're going to be there all 4.5, 5 days. I mean, this plan's unbelievable how they're setting things up. I mean, they're showing things and sharing things that you generally don't get walking up to a regular season. And, to have our sideline analyst there for the preseason game call, just to learn what you're going to learn about the 2s and 3s, it's just going to be vital. Can't wait.
Well, I can't wait for how loose and fun it's going to be.
Right. Yeah, Twin Cities Live from Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That sounds great, doesn't it?
Sounds amazing.
Bring wit, can check out Bop by Hanson, and then we can just call it a day.
I just hope it's not as hot as it was in Cincinnati when we were there.
Yeah, you're going to be there a little bit, right?
We'll see.
Yeah, please. I just love watching practice with you. Explain things a different way than I see them. All right, fire a bullet on TV today. Twin Cities Live is at Chester's in Rochester from 3 to 4:30. Twin Cities Live with Elizabeth and Nacho Leber, 3 to 4:30. Yeah, at Chester's in Rochester, correct?
That's correct.
At Nacho Leber via Twitter to learn more. Thanks for the fun. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, bud.
Ben Leber, Paul Allen. News to Nord is next.
Welcome back. It's 9 to noon, brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park. It's poker, blackjack, table games all year round, and it's live racing season as well. I believe there's racing this evening at Canterbury Park, by the way. So Thursday night party, you go down there, you buy, I think it's $2, you get Dave's Faves. So that'll tell you how to handle pick 3s, 4s, and 5s and all of that. National takeout is the lowest in the land, so you're making money on your winning bets. Nothing better than Canterbury Park. So get to CanterburyPark.com for all event details. I'm going to start here, PA. I saw this kind of NFL-wide news. Twins won 8-3 yesterday. I'll touch on that as well. But you're familiar with Merrill Reese, longtime Vox, nearly half a century calling games for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I will remind people what his voice sounds like as the Eagles won Super Bowl 52 here in Minneapolis.
We will never forget this. Hopefully with joy in our hearts. 9 seconds left. Eagles by 8. Brady lines them up. He's back again. He steps up. He's hit. He stumbles. He is throwing it deep for the end zone, and it is batted around and incomplete. And the game is over. The game is over. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Ooh, WIP 94. He is receiving, Merrill Reese's, the 2024 Pete Rozelle Radio Television Award.
Wow.
And that's going to be officially announced. I think it's in Canton as part of a gold jacket dinner. That'll be, but this is in August, right? Everything's in Canton. You got the HOF game and all that. But Merrill Reese is going to be honored by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And
Cool.
one heck of a career, U.S. Navy public affairs officer. Back now 48 years ago, he became the Eagles Vox and hasn't let it go ever since. So congratulations to Merrill Reese, one of our favorite Voxes. We've had him on many times. The reason that I'm mixing and matching this, though, is I saw this. According to ProFootballTalk.com, he found this, Florio did, via Vanity Fair. There we go. There's the source, VanityFair.com. The AI version of Al Michaels will narrate daily highlights during the upcoming Olympics for what will be called your daily Olympic recap on Peacock. And here's what Al Michaels said. Frankly, it's astonishing. It was amazing, and it was a little bit frightening. Not only close, it was almost 2% off perfect. I assume he's referencing his own voice. I'm thinking, whoa. NBC Sports president Rick Cordella said Michaels was the perfect choice for the role. AI deserves credit for, Al receives credit for leaning into this AI technology so enthusiastically. So I'm putting all of this together. And on one hand, I have this article, this Vox, who's put 50 years of sweat equity into the radio craft. And then the other side, also, by the way, HOF, Al Michaels, as good as it gets. Do you believe in miracles? Florio started the article, do you believe in microchips? Florio, you got him.
Well done.
But Al Michaels, HOF, they have taken his voice, and the AI technology has learned it, to now they're just using his voice. Al Michaels is sipping Mai Tais somewhere.
Yeah.
And he's getting paid, of course, contractually, I'm sure, and likeness and voice and all of that.
Yeah.
But AI actually doing highlights on national television during the Olympics, I think that's an interesting evolution point that I hadn't considered as it pertains specifically to AI and sports broadcasting of any form.
Well, let me ask you this. In knowing the Al Michaels sounding highlights are going to be computer generated, if and or when you're watching them, will it bug you knowing it's not a person?
It's going to bug me 1,000%.
Okay.
But I don't know how many people would that bug though?
Right. Well, 90% won't know. You know, it's not everybody's going to know or read that story.
It's true.
I would imagine.
But I'm honestly, I will go find Al Michaels' audio and then hear those highlights.
Yep.
And I'm going to nitpick the bleep out of it.
That's exactly what they want you to do. Because that means you have to go back and forth.
Yep.
And listen to the highlight package from Lake Placid with some skater going nuts and Al Michaels recapping it. And then compare, listen to the other, go back, compare. Oh, by the way, it went too long one time, and you got to see, the Tide commercial 4 times. Yeah, there's something tied into everything agenda-wise in almost everything now. It's like trying to go to certain sports related, like ProFootballTalk.com would be one. Maybe it's just me with my computer. It's like, but you try to scroll down on a story, boom. Florio's podcast pops up, and get rid of that. Excuse me.
When you scroll down the video, it comes with you.
Yeah, with you.
You don't get to just leave the video. The video travels.
Well, then the biatches hide the X. So then you can't find the X.
And then I'm trying to read something, but the video's covering the words, so now I got to keep scrolling.
Correct. And then you think you hit the X, but you didn't, and now I'm buying Tide. And now I got to go back 3 times to just get to whence I came and start over. So there's a lot of that, and AI has something to do with it.
I'm just curious, though, from a live standpoint. So the way that this is being...
You can't do it in live sports.
And that's what I'm thinking as well. Just I don't know how much the lead time now we're programming some sort of emotional
Well, it might
reaction.
be like this. Fade the music. Okay. I mean, it ain't like I'm making a Fort Knox amount of money for calling Vikings TV preseason games, but everybody's replaceable. So B-Harp, I'll cut 5 for you. Darnold, left side. Oh. All right, 3-2. Jones scampers around the right side, out of bounds. Darnold, play action, fires over the middle. Wow. Intercepted by. Fumble. Well, there. Now they got a quarter.
Well, now
and they don't need to pay me.
Well, now you got to go the other way, and when the opponent does something.
Yeah, what up, eh?
Ball hit the ground.
Yeah.
Raiders ball.
Yeah, or Mannion. What was the Mannion bit?
Oh,
that
Mannion.
You fell in love with?
Over the middle.
Yeah. Incomplete. Oh, sorry, I wasn't laughing at that.
No, but to that end, once
you
AI
can't do it, and that's why, to become a DJ. So, say you want to be Chris Carr, say you want to be Dave Ryan, say you want to be Lee Valsvik. That's all different too, because of voice tracking. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, why go here and then attempt to live a dream? Spinning hot stacks of wax and get into a career that starts at 50, 60 grand a year when they can pay Pronger with a ponytail to voice track 5 stations and bump her pay 15 grand.
Right.
Or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here, FM 100.3 KFAN, live radio, you can't AI this. You cannot Bubba Chuck, Boney, Allen Iverson, what's happening right now. You can't AI, boom! And here comes Percy Harvin. You can't AI that.
No, you can't.
So that's
But I think they'll try it someday. I truly believe that they will. Like a bit like a baseball game, because the way that you're talking, like you're recording liners, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Once it has your voice, now how does it learn the moments of a game? Understanding
it's impossible.
The computer, he hits into a 6-4-3 double play.
Right.
It does inflection matter? Would they ever would people become, I guess, so anti-personality, anti-emotion,
right,
to the degree that you would willingly listen to a computer voice effectively just transcribing, right? I mean, it's a computer version of a stenographer just taking notes, with no context or diction, or environment and aura of an event. You're just vocalizing physically what's happening. I don't think that it would ever become a hit, but I believe they'll try it. And this is the baby step portion of it with Al Michaels. Right. But just trying to picture it, I'm going to nitpick the hell out of that content when it comes out during the Olympics.
Well, Evolution gets to win too, because it's not the genesis of the NFL, but the NFL hit its first most popular moment due to Howard Cosell Monday Night Football highlights on ABC. So Frank Gifford, former Giant, is the box. You got Dandy Don Meredith. At the end of the game, his bit was turn out the lights, party's over. And Howard Cosell was one of the analysts, God rest his soul. And he would do a halftime highlight package that was everybody loved. I mean, it was millions of people watched it.
Yeah.
Fast forward, ESPN becomes a thing. Well, now you got Chris Berman with the names and halftime highlights and things. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so now you fast forward to things evolve. And that's where the evolution is of it now.
I just hope we don't evolve into emotionless. That's how it feels to me. There's a steely coldness to it.
But with live sports, it's impossible. I mean, I shouldn't say it's impossible. I can't even fathom a way you could do it. Because if you try to do it specifically with TV, then I think there will be moments where it will have some Godzilla movie to it, where AI will be talking and lips won't be moving the right way.
I always love that one.
Or kind of like the Commissioner's Cup the other night on Prime Video.
I always love that one.
Which had some of the worst broadcasting elements to it I think I've ever seen in my life. Like, into the third quarter, the lady with Prime Video doing her best with an interview was a Godzilla movie. Those who watched it know exactly what I'm talking about. Cheryl Reeve's voice was being heard when the interviewer was talking.
I always love that one.
I'm like, what is this, AI? Oh, cool, I'm out.
Finally, news to Nord real quick, and then we'll get Alec Lewis in studio next segment. Twins win 8-3 yesterday over the Arizona Diamondbacks. Simeon Woods Richardson gets the victory in 5 1/3 innings pitched. Carlos Correa was fantastic yesterday. He was 3 of 4 with a couple of runs scored and an RBI. Took a walk as well, and I think it's the finale of this one. It should be today. It's 2:40, and we have a new pitcher that I haven't heard of. David Festa is on the Festa. David Festa is on the mound for the Twins. Jordan Montgomery for the D-backs. It's a 2:40 first pitch. And make sure to watch that while loading up your Prize Picks lineups. That's News to Nord, brought to you by
Well, you just shut out the best team in the WNBA, didn't you?
Oh, it's a nooner today.
It's a nooner today.
And
at Dallas, 9.5-point favorites. Once we figure out what Dallas's nickname is, then I can stop fraudulently being the biggest Lynx fan in the history of Lynx basketball.
Well, give yourself some credit. Is it
the Wings?
It is. You did correctly guess it yesterday, and you're right again. It is the Dallas Wings. Yeah. The 13-3 Lynx are at the 3-13 Dallas Wings. So that should be hopefully a beatdown. Hopefully they're not too high.
There you go.
After that Commissioner's Cup the other night, Cheryl Reeves you got to talk about us now. You got to talk about us. We just beat a super team. We'll now go beat an awful team today at noon.
Caitlin Clark carried me and tens of thousands, if not more, into the league.
Yeah, a million people a game are watching her.
Like I said, I'll say it for a final time this week. I'm watching a lot of it, and non-Lynx games, but I've watched almost every Lynx game. So she brought me in, but then after that, so what's going to have you stay? All right. And you just hit on something. Fantasy basketball being taken seriously in the WNBA, that will keep people around, and also betting angles. So like what you said is now granted, I mean, in this wonderfully organized and led state, if you want to ponder making a $2 sports bet, it's considered akin to tightly tying a tourniquet around your fattest vein and slapping it before you inject the horse.
I always love that.
I would actually guess that you
and
would,
that's a $2 bet.
You would receive,
if you make 20, you're just eating the whole thing.
If somebody was found to be illegally gambling in the state of Minnesota or using narcotics,
great point.
I would actually bet that the betting person would receive harsher consequences.
I know.
Than the user themselves.
And I thought I saw a story, but I can't find it now, where 2 board members for the Green Bay Packers were permitted to be on the Minnesota Vikings Board of Excellence while still working for Green Bay, in essence getting all the company's secrets from one end. That's just, that never, ever. There wouldn't be somebody so stupid to permit that, right? That never, ever would happen.
No, it would not.
All right. Well, Nordo's talking, and you actually can hear me because we're recreating Prime Video in the Commissioner's Cup. It's the radio version of a Godzilla movie and the monster of all monsters ever to monster. Alec Lewis will be in studio with us around the corner. Good morning. It's KFAN.